Dallas Cowboys Training Camp coverage, powered by AA Best Bail Bonds, and in part by Texas Chia Liquor, Cowboys AC and Heating, and Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds.
He is Joe Reinagle. I am Jason Minixon. Sitting down right as we're coming on, the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, Jerry Jones. How you doing, sir?
Hanging out here with you guys. I feel like I'm downtown San Antonio.
Well, you are.
And just proud to do it. We all are enjoying this great weather, but I hope everyone's listening know what San Antonio means to Vaqueros to Dallas. What I had always thought when we were there with our presence with training camp, that when ESPN took that thing and took it across the nation, then they got a feel of how much that we appreciated the fact that there's the same percentage of Cowboy fans in San Antonio that's in Plano, Texas, which is right next door to our practice facility. Hello, San Antonio.
So are you growing the fan base in Dallas? Because you've told us before on this show that per capita, more Cowboy fans in San Antonio than in the Metroplex.
Well, that is true. That is true, and we appreciate we have a great season ticket group that come from San Antonio, but boy, one of the things that I do miss the most is our training days that we had there at the stadium, and being there during our training camp at that time. And I really do have plans as we look this year. We're going back and we're going to be at the Star there for some days, but I really have plans for getting back down there and getting some work done in the off season.
Well, I know Cowboy fans are going to be very happy to hear you say that, because, I mean, ever since they know that we're coming up here to Oxnard to cover the Cowboys, I mean, people have given us questions. What are they going to do? They're all right there on the edge of their seat wanting to know what the Cowboys are going to do. One of those questions, Mr. Jones, was in the offseason. A lot of Cowboy fans didn't think you guys did much. And I know you've heard this before, but what was your thinking process in all of that?
Well, first of all, very fair, very fair. And last year, we really pushed it. And we pushed it to the extent that we had some really fine people and fine players that were in the top 10 or 11 players that we pay the money to. Mm-hmm. And for whatever the reasons, those players, usually injury, but those players had ability but not availability for what justified being in that top 10 or 11 players. So we needed to address that, and we did. And that's why you see some of our top names and, if you will, top players, but we made a change. And we made a change so we could get those resources into guys that were also potential players but also have availability. So that's what you're seeing. I didn't want to go right back into what we had just made a change on. That player that has more noted ability, so to speak, a veteran, and go right back into those kinds of dollars and take the way from a receiver like Tolbert that we've got out here right now. So we deliberately knew that rather than go big time out here where you pay the money in free agency, go big time on our young guys and push to try to meld them in with the players that we do have. So it's very deliberate, knew exactly how it would look, knew exactly what our fans might think, but we needed to do it. We had really pushed. I want to remind everybody that for a veteran team, or for a team that we were in last year, you can't be healthier than we were when we got to the playoff. So it wasn't that we didn't have a lot of those veteran players and we had them healthy, and that still didn't get us where we wanted to go. Let's go this way. Let's see if we can get there, be healthy, have young players, and, of course, guys like our some of the ones you're seeing really excel out here today, the William Smith, Tolbert, all of those guys that we'll not only have that, we'll have them for years before we have to get up in those big decisions about putting them in the top 10 of our players financially.
Jerry Jones joining us here on the Blitz on San Antonio Sports Star. The injury to Washington makes us wonder if you've have to go find a veteran wide receiver. And watching kicking today, are you going to spend some time on the phone with some available kickers today?
Well, first of all, let's start with the kicker, the kickers. But what today was really, I don't know if it was a mental conditioning, because those kickers were going against the wind at 50 and 60 yards. What I want is a kicker that won't miss an extra point. I want a kicker that can hit a 30-yard field goal.
Yeah.
Yes.
We all do.
Going out here and kicking against the wind for 60 yards. I'm not trying to do that. I don't think we will need to be kicking out here at 6 yards. So against the wind, if you will. So I'm being a little facetious, but let's hang in there. It's early. At least these guys are kicking. If you remember last year, we went in there and thought we had a heck of a kicker, but hadn't been able to use him in training camp because he was limited because of injury. And we lost against a game that we should have won by having a kicker miss that. Now, was it the end-all, be-all, or the reason? Not necessarily, but it certainly had stuck in my mind. But I feel good there. Then our second question.
On the receivers.
The receivers, I do not feel urgent there. It could happen, but I don't feel urgent. The reason I want to take guys that we are excited about, these young receivers that we have, that are really improving every day, Tolbert being right at the head of the list. And I really think that we can get them some snaps. The facts are that last year we didn't have enough balls to go around. We need to get the ball to Pollard more. We need to get the ball even to Zeke more. But certainly these tight ends are looking good. And then it's nothing wrong with throwing a few balls in there to Lamb with him being covered a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dak is maybe the best that I have seen at going to the right guy, the guy the defense says go to, that they didn't cover.
Yeah.
Consequently, if your best men are covered or the big playmaker, then they may not see that ball.
That's true.
Well, it wouldn't. What that might call is Lamb to get one when he's covered a little bit. He'll catch it.
Absolutely.
Jerry, they're giving us the wrap signal, but before we let you go, I got one question. There's a headline on Pro Football Talk. It says Roger Goodell is expected to read the Riot Act to owners next week about tampering and tanking. When was the last time somebody read the Riot Act to Jerry Jones?
Well, last time I was tanking.
What was that?
My wife.
Yes. We kind of thought that.
We wonder, like, who besides Mrs. Jones, Gene,
Well,
would have
you wondered right.
Yeah.
You wondered right.
Well, we're all married guys. We
But
get
I will
it.
tell you one thing. That will jerk you in a knot, as you know, okay? Have y'all heard about my boat?
Yes.
That's what you get.
Yeah, is that it? That's the last time you got in trouble?
That's the last time.
Y'all are bad. I'm going to get in trouble.
No, we're not trying to get you in trouble. Jerry Jones,
Great man.
always appreciate you taking the time to visit with us down in San Antonio.
You bet, guys.
Appreciate
All right,
it.
sir.
Thank you
Good
very
to see
much.
sir.
All right. Good to see you guys.
Jerry Jones, owner of the Dallas Cowboys, joining us here live